Maybe you're going into a situation you know is gonna be kind of tricky for you. Whatever, it's a family thing, it's a staff thing, I don't know, or you're just tired, or you have something hard going on in your life and you have to go to work, right? So you kind of know from the outside, "Oh, this is tricky." And you walk in and you just notice that right away you're like, "Hey, how are you?" You're just on, right? You're on. You're making jokes. You are Nobody would know you don't feel good. Nobody would know you're having a bad day, right? So some people can kind of, I mean, yes, part of that is growing up and part of that is like being a professional. And sometimes some people just have this ability to, like I said, use their social engagement system even when they don't totally feel it. So it's kind of it's a very nuanced thing, right? This understanding of like red, blue, and green. And then there's some people who just don't do that. Okay. You probably know them, or maybe you're married to one, or you have a kid who just is like, they get somewhere and there's like, they don't want to be there. When they get into that room, they're just like, nope, right? They sit down or they go get some food, or now we've got phones. So they just like, and they are just like, no. So even though if it's your kid or your husband and you might be irritated because they're doing it, man, that just tells the truth, right? Social engagement system isn't there. And then you have something in between, right? So you have this like ability to kind of chit chat with people even if you don't feel great. So as a teacher, it's really, the blue is, it's nuanced, but you can find it. Okay. So the blue is like, you're not going to be making a lot of eye contact and you'll have a really flat voice. And it's kind of like the whole body, it's like the whole body doesn't have, isn't plugged in, right? So if we think about the eyes, I mean, yeah, maybe the eyes aren't like, you're not noticing that there's a lot of expression here, but it's just the whole thing is just kind of like, and you might have like just a really flat voice. Um, and the shoulders are slumped. So that's one way to notice blue. But when we talk about play, I'll talk about some ways that we can kind of help reach them. So there's a lot of ways to notice a blue and then to kind of pull it out. So for ourselves, let's try this really quick. So kind of close your eyes or whatever feels good to kind of be inside. Notice a time when you felt really overwhelmed. No, don't pick the worst time of your life, but just something mildly overwhelming. So you feel kind of just overwhelmed. It's Friday, right? It's the end of the week, and you're just like, oh. Maybe you notice that there's like kind of a slump in your shoulders, and there's like maybe a little bit of sadness, maybe a little bit of numbness. And it's just this like, there is no rising to the occasion, right? Okay. Now think of a person or a place or a pet that is easy to go to when you're feeling terrible, right? Or I brought in my Banksy. So if you have a pet or you have a person or maybe you have a favorite place, maybe you like a park or the beach or you like playing basketball. So bring that feeling of this goodness into your body. So I'm going to picture Banksy. Don't tell my husband, but Banksy's so easy. So I'm going to picture Banksy and I'm just going to kind of bring the idea of Banksy into my body. Take a couple deep breaths. And I can feel some kind of goodness come in, some lightness come in. Go ahead and open your eyes. So that sort of trick is the next one I want to talk about is co-regulation, right? So it's using a regulated body when we feel dysregulated. So, right, so we kind of made ourselves feel a little dysregulated with that activity, trying to feel what blue feels like. And then you bring in something that is supportive. So it can be a pet that died. For a long time, I could do this cool visualization of my dog Max that died. And it was like so great to bring him in, right? So this is co-regulation. We all need support, you guys. So how can we support teachers, right? They really need a strong pre and post game. All of you do, right? So I'm like, what can we do in the morning as y'all get ready, right? Like, is there a great song that we can play? Is there a prayer? Is there, a dog that, whether the dog is alive or not, or it's a dog from when you were a kid, or it was this, childhood friend that you loved, or it was the beach or whatever. And then you bring that feeling in and you're like, okay, I have this with me too, right? So this is co-regulation. And then co-regulation is also what we're doing for our kids in the classroom, right? So the trick is, if you're noticing one of the kids is in like a protection mode, you want to offer connection mode, right? So you want to offer kind of the regulation of your body to them. Now, what do you do if you don't feel regulated, right? First, just be honest with yourself. It's fine, right? Like I'm all about let's have like the compassion for our humanity, right? We all have bodies, we all have nervous systems. In nervous systems, states are meant to be flexible. We're supposed to have all of the states. So you're not supposed to just stay green and totally like, I love you all the time. And I'm just so ready for it. That's not real. I don't expect that of anyone. That's not a real thing. But you can in the second, right? In the second before you go to that kid that is lost or irritating or causing trouble, right? This kid that is not in connection mode, before you're going to go and offer your regulated nervous system to him, you can stop for a little bit of regulation, right? And you can do that in the classroom by saying, maybe you do the tapping thing. Another one that's kind of fun for the classroom is like I call it horse lips. Just, I mean, your students, and if they laugh, great. That works too, right?